Why hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. I'm Corny Swiss, and today I'm driving around a few different tanks. I think we're going to see the Tiger, which I'm in right now, and the KV-1 Premium. I think we get to the Panzer 470 at the end of the game, but, you know, it's your classic conquest match on Poland, with the one cap being in the middle of the city. And I really like the conquest mode on Poland when the cap is it just smack dab, because I think part of good map design is to have something central that both teams need to fight for, but not so painstakingly important that if you were to lose it, there's not avenues of regaining it. And on this map, I kind of like it because we kind of have that. If you want to think of across the lake on the southern portion of the map is kind of an avenue to weakening forces inside the city and allowing your tanks to push in. And if you can hold that like southern portion of the map, which has got a little ridge and the tree line, you can effectively prevent enemy reinforcements from getting into the city. However, it when there's on a map like this, there's not really a reason to do that, and I came up on a whole bunch of tanks right here. First shot went into the Tiger. It didn't do a whole lot. The return fire knocked out my horizontal drive and got my gunner. We have this AAA gun. I don't know which one it is, but he's going to YOLO in there and just I think he's just going to kill everybody, except the Tiger. But it was weird. I haven't been able to try out many of the German AAA. It's obviously on the list, but I do want to see just. I mean, the ZSU is the only one that I saw. I was like, wow, this thing is an anti-tank gun as well. The other ones don't seem to be. I don't know why I wasted time shooting at the good old turret. I should have just shot the front plate. And I kind of realized I was being a little dumb, so I switched to sort of side scraping, backing out just enough to get my shot in. I think this is when it's just sometimes you just need to fail a couple times and then realize, wait, I should just shoot him square in his front plate where I always shoot Tigers. There you go. The entire crew is now dead. But I hope they put more city maps in. I wouldn't mind seeing a pure city map, but it'd be more like big open boulevards rather than tight enclosed streets. You know, like maybe put it in Paris. Take the, like, because you know how Paris has those great big large boulevards, like the Champs-Élysées, if I remember my French. You put like big streets like that in, but you have buildings and obstacles and things like that. I think that could be a really, really good map design. But at the same time, there needs to be side streets and connecting things so that it doesn't become too linear. What I like about Poland is we have these two big open fields, and there is actually reason to hold those fields because of how the middle of the city is structured, in the sense that it's actually fairly wide open, and there's lots of angles to shoot into the city from the south because it is on the southern part of the city. And even if it was slightly farther north, you'd still be on these main streets, so you'd still be essentially in the line of fire. But currently what's happening is we've kind of pushed forward through the city. I'm sitting in the cap circle. We're going to cap and then continue pushing forward through the city, which kind of brings me to my next talking point. Something I like, but I understand if it's extremely annoying, is the fact that when you're in the city, sometimes the spotting mechanics don't seem to work that well. What do I mean by that? Well, when eventually, spoilers, I'm going to get knocked out of my Tiger, and I'm going to end up in my KV-1. And it's going to be a Tiger that knocks me out, which is reasonable. I knocked out a Tiger. However, it's the fact that he wasn't actually spotted on the map when he knocked me out, which I understand why Also, I think it's annoying that sometimes it doesn't tell you that, oh my god, we're on fire, and lets you just figure it out. But it's weird. I mean, I don't quite know how the spotting mechanics work, but inside this city they seem to not work very well, which is not a problem because I think city fighting, especially in War Thunder, is going to be very lucky. You either come around the corner with your gun facing the right way or you don't, or just don't go around corners ever, because of how slow almost all the tanks are turning the turret, traversing the hull, doing whatever. You see, like for my Tiger, I'm spinning the entire tank to help get my turret on target, because it's a heavy machine, heavy turret, you know, big gun, and it's just, yeah, I mean, the turret doesn't turn that fast, but in closed streets like this, it's difficult to do that and not present yourself as a target. Also note, one, he wasn't that far away from me, but from what I can see, he's not marked on the map. And it was a very bold shot. I was pretty heavily angled for that, but, you know, it's whatever. The game decided, and you gotta live with it, I guess. But now I'm gonna jump into my KV-1, which is really growing on me as a premium tank. I have my favorite premium tanks, I'm sure you're aware based on, well, at least the Russian one, you won't be surprised at all. My T-34E is probably one of my favorite premium tanks. Used to be the Su-122P, but I don't know, I just haven't, last time I played, it didn't feel the same for some reason. But the T-34E, the Sherman German would be one, and now this KV-1, because it in my opinion has the most effective tools for dealing with whatever situation you might come across. For example, if you need armor, you can angle. It's not horribly slow. This was kind of bold. I should have immediately found the bomber, but I figured I'd go for a little bit of strafing. But I'm absolutely horrible at strafing ground targets. I also kind of need to learn what can be strafed, what can't be strafed. Just in terms of like what caliber gun you need to damage tanks. Actually, that flak truck there just kind of wrecked me. Got my engine, got my wing. So that's not going to be good for me. I tried to strafe up that F2, but I was going down anyway. And there he is. There's my burning wreck. Didn't lead this shot enough. It barely nicks the back of his tank. But especially tanks, medium tanks, sometimes it's difficult to gauge how fast they're going to be going when you fire. F2s are pretty light. They have a decent engine, so they can actually get up to a decent speed and relatively quickly. But another interesting thing about Poland is, I mean, it's difficult in War Thunder to really drive over every square inch of a map through the course of a game. It's just generally not how things work. But like some parts of the city, I just have no idea. I'm like right now, I'm looking at my map really hard. Well, when I was playing, to figure out the best route to the cap zone. I was looking at my teammates and the way they were going and trying to figure out, okay, what's an angle I can come at the cap zone that's different from what they're doing. And eventually I just say, I just want to get to the cap zone. Because it's confusing. The side streets, the avenues, they're all very confusing. And also it's not clear what's blocked by rubble, what's passable, things like that. But this little intersection here is a prime example of sort of what this map's kind of about, is that if I go through there and there's an enemy tank on either side, they get the first shot, they probably knock me out. Just because I won't have enough time to turn the turret before they just shoot me in the face. Now, I have been noticing weird, like, bugs. I want to call them bugs. Like, for example, I took a hit there, but no damage registered on my tank. I don't know anything about what happened to my tank. I could switch it to X-ray mode, but I don't have that hotkey set up. But also, it's like there's this for about it seems like my gunner got knocked out, but at the same time, it probably should have told me, hey, your gunner's unconscious. It'll be 8 seconds. But it didn't, which is fine. It's just annoying sometimes because I'd like to know what's wrong with my tank, especially when there's no messages or anything, and I'm like, well, I'd like to shoot this tank, please. But it's kind of whatever. And now we're slowly making our way into the cap circle. The 4H just took a big hit and is set on fire. Gonna finish off the enemy 3M. Now there's an F2 in front of us and a Panther face hugging the side of that building. I think what happened was he was damaged and maybe repairing or something, or maybe he was just trying to be really sneaky. But he's gonna sit there regardless, and I felt like that shot probably should have done something. The H has since been knocked out, and there's actually an SU-85M way out there. But the Panther backs up and basically gives me his ammo rack and polish him off. So now we've capped, which is nice. And teammate of mine is jumping into a bomber. Now, he didn't mean to, but he's going to end up bombing me. And I understand why. There's an enemy tank right there. I think he was trying to bomb the cap circle and help me out. And I didn't make it easy for him because I went directly up to where this tank was. And that's probably where he was sighted in to bomb. So, partially my fault. But, it's just unfortunate. That's okay. Not worried about it. There's my first shot didn't knock him out, which was unfortunate. But yeah, I get bombed, but he apologized, and honestly, it's not a big deal to me. I don't really care. We're gonna win this game now. I was able to cap, and we have tanks pushing through the other side of the city, so we should be fine. But something to take away from this replay is that I think there's a couple bugs that I find happen more on Poland than any other map for some reason. Every time I play Poland, I get hit with that cheese where it's like the messages don't show up or spotting bugs. But I think the spotting might be working as intended. I'm not sure. But anyway, thanks for joining me. I've been Corny Swiss, and I'll see you next time.